Good morning here at the Vero Beach Amateur Radio Club Field Day event, W4OT, which I come by every year and check out. Going to give you a little tour of what we got here. I did not bring my EME moon bounce setup because of the moon phase with declination. It is just not going to work. There was nobody online, but the Red Cross, the American Red Cross, thank you to them here in Vero Beach. They provided all the public, or all the spot here for field day. They had it mowed. They came out and did mosquito treatment. They made sure it was, all their stuff was parked where we had enough room. And thank you to the American Red Cross here in Vero Beach for allowing the local club here for us to use all this property and cook and set up tents and promote to the public. You'll see some people that show up this morning and want to check out some of the stuff and what is ham radio, what are you guys doing here? And the guys give them all the information, and let's go take a walk and look around. So they got, this is something you probably don't see at field day, they got shortwave receivers set up here, and I guess they were donated?
Yeah, they were donated.
And they set them up here so people and kids can come up and put headphones on and tune in and listen to shortwave. A great way to get people into the hobby by listening and teaching them how shortwave works, which are right in between the ham radio bands. And that's why they have this set up like this, because people like this come up and they want to know what's going on, and we show them why we're doing this. So you can see there's already interested people here. They had this at the special event station at where was that? The Environmental Learning Center.
Yes.
They had that here. And another cool thing, they got a key on each side, so you could have somebody here. Oh, there it is. Oh, cool. So you can get a certificate here. Yeah. Awesome. And basically playing Morse code with two people, one on each side, and teaching them.
Washington Station and the Baltimore Station on the other side.
Oh, cool. Okay.
History. So this is a history of all of that in the making and about the code key.
Yeah. The days of telegraph.
The days of telegraph and early days there, and they can read all about it.
That's cool. Get people engaged. Awesome.
Other side, and basically they can do different right here. And this is they have the code there. They can say whatever they want. The other one tries to figure out what it was.
And if they get it, they get a certificate.
They get a certificate.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
The supervisor.
What's that?
There's plenty of solder.
Yeah, the soldering station here. So they, what were you like soldering on some?
A little printed circuit board.
Yeah.
Parts.
Yeah.
Say 4 or 5 parts just to.
Yeah, practice your soldering skills.
And a battery, flashing.
Plenty of soldering in case you make a mistake. Really cool stuff. So that's the public engagement booth area, right? And people are already coming by and checking it out. There could be new people right there that are getting into ham radio, father and daughter, right there because of the Vero Beach Amateur Radio Club. It's amazing. It's amazing. Let's go check out what they got over here. Let's go check out in here. They're in here. Good old Vero Beach Amateur Radio trailer. They got this set up with the awning now, so the AC looks like they got wires going out to the portable trailer there for the beam up top. That's what their map looks like right now for contacts.
You got a better map on the other side of that television right there.
Oh, over here? There we go.
And then you can have my picture in it too, but
There we are. How many contacts did you make?
We've done about 250.
250?
We were 6 behind last year, just a little while ago.
Nice. John, did you make breakfast this
I
morning?
made breakfast.
How did everybody like it?
Everybody loves the breakfast.
It was delicious.
Okay, Richard
Yeah,
prefers.
I had seconds on the sausage.
Okay, very good.
It was all good.
How did you guys, how long were you here last night?
I wasn't here very long. I did the early shift. I brought the equipment, and John was really helpful in measuring out where we wanted to lay the cables and the boxes. And my main concern was to make sure everybody had power for air conditioning.
Yeah, it was
That was
hot.
it, and it worked out perfectly.
Very cool. I saw the pictures on Facebook last night. It looks like a lot of people, a lot of stuff
We
going
had
on.
good contacts last night. I left here about 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Got back here about 7, so I had to go get some sleep.
Yeah.
Air conditioning wasn't cold enough in the.
Man, that one time
I missed my camper.
That one time we were at that camper, he had that thing like 42 degrees. We woke up, there was ice on the window.
That's the way I like it.
Yeah.
All good. All good.
Very cool. All right, so John says he's got a, what is it, a Ruth Goldberg? Ruth Goldberg.
That's Richard's term, man. Old man term.
This is John's little setup here in his trailer. If you remember the past videos, me and John would camp out in one trailer, and oh gosh. All right, this you got the exhaust right out the top and everything. And we're running a Flex. Hey, it's pretty cool in here. This is a Flex what? Whoops.
That's Richard's 6500.
I never touched a Flex before, man.
Oh, I don't have the antenna hooked up to it.
Yeah. No, I don't need to make contact. I'm just.
Can't show a flex without signals to it.
So you got the AC blowing directly on you, right
Yeah, you
here.
notice it's not that cold in here.
I think it's pretty comfortable.
But with that on your back, it's not bad. It's doable. I parked it in the shade a little bit. We got a lot of noise, and then the other guy's transmitting, trying to blank us out a little bit. I'm
The-
already running my chameleon.
Those filters aren't. Oh, you're not on the filter.
No, I don't.
Yeah, that's why. All mouse and keyboard driven, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know if a Flex is for me, honestly. I like knobs and radios. What are these? There's two of these yellow things. What are they?
So the 50 amp cords come off of the generator and this distribution box.
Oh.
So 50 amp 220 into it, and then we could run all the,
And then you
the
got one
extensions off.
over there as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
Very cool. Red Cross gave you guys let you use the parking lot and stuff, huh?
Yep.
That's really cool. Red Cross and Vero Beach Amateur Radio Club have a great partnership, and one helps the other all the time. That's a portable power right there. That thing will probably run the entire time on a sip of gas, huh?
Yeah, it's, I think you checked the fuel just a few minutes ago and it was on half.
Wow.
It's run since 8 o'clock yesterday morning.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, look at the size here of the place. So there's the Red Cross building right there. The Red Cross did an amazing favor, had everything cut, mosquito controlled, and able to use the parking lot everywhere. So great public place for everybody to stop by and see what's going on. Hello.
Satellite contact.
I did. John just told me.
Is that not comical? The first one, they were so happy to get the contact.
Yeah.
They didn't even write the guy's name down.
I'll get it after I play it back, and there was nothing there. How you doing, Eric?
Pretty good, pretty good.
How you doing?
Doing fine, man. How are you?
Good.
There's the map currently.
Yeah, I saw that over there. Looks like you guys are making a bunch of contacts, huh?
We're not doing too bad.
I mean, you know, I think it's
yeah,
busier than last year.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And even with 80 and 40 being kind of dead,
Yeah.
they're doing great.
Surprisingly, nobody's on 80 for field day.
Really?
Yeah, the band is there. Nobody's calling.
I didn't realize you're still wearing that shirt. You don't wear it enough. This thing should have been mopped up
Oh,
and
yeah.
that thing should be used for oil change in the driveway and stuff. HamRadioConcepts. You know, I don't even know where my shirt is.
Oh, is that right?
I don't even have a scope head shirt anymore. I was the first one to lose it. And 10 years later, Eric still got one.
5 Foxtrot SFL.
USL, good luck, 73.
73.
Hey, Jim, you're working FT8 over here while they're on phone, huh?
Well, they're screwing,
Probably John's.
screwing around with the database, so he went to
John's or
He's been running FT8 also.
Oh, okay.
Bill. Let me see. Doesn't it say on the cover?
So Jim says
I'm
that.
I'm on back. I made 4 contacts, so I'm trying to get the other shit.
So he says with the points, if you're running FT8 with a battery that was charged from solar, you get 2 points. And so 50 contacts is equal to 100 points, right? That's correct?
Okay. Well, with FT8, you get 2 points of contact.
Right.
Special, if you make 10 contacts
Oh, okay.
on a battery that was charged from solar,
Right.
get 100 points.
Wow.
So 100 divided by 2, you'd have to make 50 contacts.
Right.
To get 100. So,
Right.
So make it 10 to get 100. That's a good deal.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. I thought they would try to make it more points for phone instead of FTA. That's what I thought.
I 100% support that.
Yeah.
I really do. And I've even written, why are there 2 points for FT8? It's just, now they claim that the rigor or difficulty in getting this all set up to work.
Right. Would equal to the amount of extra points.
You got a
Yeah.
computer, you got this, you got that, so they give you more points. But
Right.
I'd rather see phone get 2 points.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Yeah, on the 6 meter or VHF contest this last weekend, I didn't find anybody on 6 meter, 2 meter on phone. One person on phone in Miami,
Yeah.
but everything else on 2 meter sideband or 6 meter was FT8.
Yeah.
And-
The other thing is that, but the phone contacts are very quick.
Yeah.
You know, boom, boom.
Right. Takes a little longer to make it with the
Yeah,
FT8,
it
right?
takes a minute really to get the whole thing through.
Yeah.
I guess it works out. But,
Pretty
look,
cool.
I don't care what the rules are, just explain them to me.
Yeah.
And I'll figure a way to treat them.
All right. Well, I miss my vertical here. Remember, I used to have that high gain AV680 track vertical. This thing was pretty neat. I miss a vertical. They got the portable tower trailer here. That's always pretty cool. And they got the lines ran all the way over back to their trailer there. They made this. If you haven't seen this in a past video, they could deploy this thing, set it up, 1, 2, 3, take it away. Look, the American Red Cross is actually coming to set up their booth for the public to come by and see, put the two together, ham radio and American Red Cross. So just ran into Barbara that said, you got to talk to her. Hello, Barbara.
Hello.
And Barbara was doing satellite for contacts yesterday, and she busted this out, and I said, wow, this is way more fancy than mine. Tell us about this.
Okay, well, this is the control unit for the rotor that I designed that kind of destroyed itself yesterday, but through my own fault. But this is actually the driver board for the rotor. It's actually using the same servos that you'd see in those robotic dogs.
Yeah.
This is their servos that do the leg controls and all.
Is this like Arduino?
No, this is an ESP32.
Okay.
Same concept, same language.
Right.
Another ham, her name's Chris Vickers, actually got me started with Arduino when I got sick back in 2022. So she's partially the fault for this. But this is an ESP32 chip, and it actually has an interface for a Raspberry Pi, which is the main reason I went with this. And it's using serial UART serial to talk to the Raspberry Pi, which is under here. I put a fancy breakout board so you could see the lights and all when it's turning on and all. And that Pi is actually running a custom written interface to take this information from here and turn it into coordinates.
Cool.
So I can then interface with it. It's running a version of HamLib, which gpredict, which is the program that I use to control both the servo and my radio to track the satellites. It runs that interface, and that was custom written to take this to something I could talk to. And the little displays down here just to tell you where the antenna is in space, make sure its calculations are right. And this is actually here because there's a Ethernet port that this guy talks to talk to that, so I can talk to it through my
Right. So I have one that I made from somebody's plans online, Elwood Downey, and it's got Clear Sky Institute or something. I made a video on it years ago, and I have a ESP32 Espressif, I guess, a little tiny thing. And I had originally a Ethernet, which turned into Wi-Fi, but then I'm just using the Wi-Fi and a little board. And it's mounted like this, but not this nice. I used hot glue and whatever. It's a smaller board, and I don't have this, but I have 5 volt step down, 6 volt step down, and then 12 volt. And it's all right. It uses the web interface. I just put in the satellite, it pulls up the data, I hit start, and it just does whatever. I don't actually know the code too much. I downloaded the code and he helped me do it, but it looks like you're way more into knowing exactly what everything ticks in this thing.
Well, and that was part of the reason I got into it, is I do computers day in and day out. So one of the reasons that I'm fascinated by ham is the link that I can use an SDR, software-defined radio, and see how I can use those computer technologies to play with ham.
Yeah.
To learn that. And that's where this came out of, because somebody went, oh, you've got your technician license. You know you can play with satellites.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, except I have a tremor. And it's like, so working satellites is very difficult for me. And I'm going, okay. And then I started pricing out the rotors, and I'm like, no. And then it was one of those where I'm going, I think I can make this.
Yeah.
And I went, that's what started this whole entire thing.
Yeah, like I said, I just did mine copy. You know, he put the plans out there, and I adjusted a couple things. He said, you can use this or this. I started getting into Arduino. Then he said, just go the ESP32. It's a lot easier. So, but now I got to figure out how to log into the thing because I lost the IP address. I didn't put it on a sticky note in the front. So I got to find out what the IP is and get back into that software and figure it out. But
yeah.
What kind of antenna do you use?
I had a homemade Maxon antenna that I started with, but I only recently realized it didn't have enough gain. It only had 5 to 6 dB worth of gain, which I was not even really able to hear anything with it. So I went out and bought an Arrow 2, which is how my rotor got busted because its balance point was different. And
yeah, I use a elk log periodic on mine. It seems to do good. I have no issues with it. But thanks for showing me this. So what are the switches for? Just little breakers?
No, they're actually the on-off. So if I power this up, which I can do so if you'd like.
No, you don't have to.
That's to control the fans, because in Florida everything overheats. So in, out, that turns on the fans. This turns on the router, this one right here. And I gotta give the router a moment or two to start up, so this guy will get an IP address. And then that turns on and gives power to the robotics, and then all I do is turn it on.
So you're gonna make me go through mine and get a bigger box and do this, because I like how it's more organized. I have one of these in there. I have the couple things are similar in nature, but yours is way more neatly set up.
Well, I did mine specifically for show and tell, for like field day and stuff, because I already know that my rig is going to cause a lot of attention. And it would be a lot easier for me to make a box about this big and everything.
So when we gotta get together and do moon bounce now? I gotta show you the EME.
It's like, I'm game.
I was gonna bring it, like I said, but wrong lunar cycle. But yeah, we'll definitely we'll be seeing Barbara again with the satellite stuff. Thanks for showing us.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. The Vero Beach Amateur Radio Club, Whiskey 4 Oscar Tango field day event. Always a great thing. And we will see them again next year, maybe at the winter field day or some other time. But take care, everybody, and 7-3.